to his White House economic advisor, Gary Cohn, saying that the House tax bill is something the president can and will likely support. So we're monitoring very closely what he is saying at this economic club forum. In the meantime, let's go to our Charlie Gasparino, who's been crunching some of the other numbers here. You know, we keep forgetting, Charlie, that part of this, and you get a mix of disappointment and glee, is that they're constrained under this system, under reconciliation, about not blowing the deficit, and so you can't go too crazy. You know, there are those who will argue, well, you should cut spending or whatever. But this is what it is, so it is this give and take. What's the reaction you're getting on it?
And they're constrained by ideology, too.
Sure.
Paul Ryan is not a supply-sider like Art Laffer, you know, and, you know, he looks at much more of a static analysis as opposed to a dynamic analysis.
Pay for it.
Pay for it immediately. Don't worry about the stuff. You can't count the stuff that's coming in the future. I will say this. When you talk to people that, you know, I talk to economists, I talk to traders, investors, there's good, there's bad, and there's ugly. What's good? Clearly, you're simplifying the tax code. It's going from 7 rates to 4, correct? The corporate tax cuts are there. They're not phasing them in, right?
Not phasing them in. They're big.
That's big. So that's good. What's bad? Well, you know, they really did cut back on the small business tax cut. It's stuff that we spoke about yesterday. Right. When it really comes down to it, because of the formula, they're using a blended rate of about 30%. It goes down from 39.5 to 30. That's still a cut, but it's not the 20% they were talking about before. So that's not so great. Where it gets ugly, I think, is on the personal side. And I'll tell you, on the personal side, this is not tax reform. This is basically think about it this way. If you make $261,000 a year, you live in Long Island, you're going to lose your property tax cuts and some other deductions, SALT deduction and some other stuff. You are likely at $261,000 going to get a tax increase on this. Forget about the millionaires, the people making $1 million. 261, the marginally more than that gets you into that third bracket. And I think
the 35%.
Yes, right. That's where it gets bad.
But it used to be as of now, 418,000, what got you into 39.6%.
Got you to 39.6. But
so they're arguing net you're coming out ahead of what you would have been if things stayed the same.
Maybe, but you don't know based on the deductions. And here's one other thing that I think. This is the smoke and mirrors of what the GOP is saying. And they want to appease everybody. And listen, tax reform, when you really do it, you're going to give, if you do it right, you're going to give a big, fat tax cut to rich people who theoretically will spend it on middle-class people. But here's the problem that they have. They are giving tax breaks. Most of them, if you look at this, the people at the bottom end, they're getting the tax break. Sounds great, but they don't pay much of the federal taxes.
I'm seeing coming through again and again.
Income taxes, I should say.
Right, and this came up even in the pass-through thing, that they were really trying very, very hard to prevent rich individuals, maybe guys like you, from going into that. Yeah, from snookering them. So they really put all these roadblocks in there to prevent that.
Listen,
and I'm not saying that necessarily agree or disagree. And on the wealthy, that limit their tax breaks to the extent that the 39.6% sticks for them, and with some of the other conditions they'll end up paying more. But they went over backwards, and yet the irony will be that I wonder if we'll get so much as a single Democratic vote as a result.
Probably not, because they'll say the corporate stuff is a giveaway to the rich. And, you know, listen, they're into it for obstructionary, rash reasons. The real question is, you know, what does the Wall Street Journal editorial page say tomorrow? Look at what the conservatives say. And I think they will say something along the line. On the individual side, they wimped out. There is no doubt. I'm telling you, if you want to give a middle-class tax cut, don't screw around with the income tax. Go right to the payroll tax. That's where middle-class people get screwed, on payroll taxes. The income tax is a smoke and mirror. So what they did was they came out and said, hey, we're giving this huge tax cut to middle-class people, working-class people who really don't pay much income tax. They get screwed on the payroll tax. And I think that's the smoke and mirrors here. Now, that's what I say is good, bad, and ugly. Good on the corporate side. I don't care what anybody says. I spoke with a CEO yesterday. He says, you cut my corporate tax rate from 39.5 or wherever he pays with a couple of deductions, 30, down to 20. And guess what? I get 15% to the bottom line.
That is the most dramatic thing here.
It's amazing.
And it's not phased in.
And by the way, I'm going to do some stock buybacks, but I'm also going to hire a lot of technology people and build stuff. I mean, that's where it's good.
Right.
This personal stuff, we have to crunch numbers. It's a joke when it really comes down to it.
It's not as if you come from a high-tax state.
I'm telling you. Neil, if you make $50,000 a year and you live in Ohio, how much money are you really going to get on this?
Well, we are going through these various brackets and various hypothetical situations throughout the show. We will show you that. We will keep you updated on that. I've been doing a lot of number crunching myself here. But net, of course, the review you're getting on Republicans, is it better than what we have? They say yes. Are you net better off than what you would be if they didn't touch anything? They say yes. What does Kevin Brady think about this? The guy who put this together was putting this together long before Donald Trump was even running for president of the United States. He is going to be in big demand today. He is making his first stop with us on Your World at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The man who runs the House Ways and Means Committee and crunched all of these numbers and dealt with all of these used egos and obnoxious journalists whose names end in a vowel. First with us on Your World. We'll have more after this.